So a quick warning, if during the video I leave or you hear some sort of like buzzing sound, it's because I'm waiting for a delivery to be made to my house and they did not warn us when they were going to actually give the delivery. So I'm kind of aware that that might happen whilst I'm recording this video, because knowing my luck, it probably will. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is me, ya boy, surprisingly still able to listen. The tinnitus has not caught up to me. And today, I just want to talk about random songs, you know? I just want to talk about songs that I've been listening throughout these past months this year. I've had the idea of making this video since I did my underrated tracks of 2023 video. And you know, I've grown up with a lot of ranking channels and everything. And what they did a lot was at both the midpoint and at the end of each year, they would, you know, showcase what they believe to be the best songs of that time period. I wanted to do that as well because I actually have been trying my best to listen to as much new music as possible. And again, this year has been a pretty good year for music, with a lot of great albums, with a lot of great EPs, a lot of great things being announced in the future as well. And you know, I wanted to give you know, my own opinions on some tracks that I've been enjoying this year. So the way that this video is going to work, I'm going to kind of split this into two parts. The first part, we'll be talking about songs you've definitely heard throughout this year, some of the biggest releases from some of the biggest names, even one or two funny little choices that I made to show that I'm not just listening to EDM. But then the second part will be mostly just songs you've probably never heard, because they also deserve a spotlight. I think I said this as well in my 2023 video. It's definitely in the underground where you see a lot of talent, a lot of creativity, a lot of great original ideas, and it would be shitty of me to not give them a highlight as well. So without further ado, let's just jump into the first track of this video, one that is probably part of one of the biggest releases of the year. The EP Hazard Statements by Job has already cemented its spot as probably one of the best EPs from this year. Some of the best dubstep to come out of anyone, really. My favorite track from this is definitely Fire Hazard with Vex You. The whole song is just that sort of a high quality, what is this, Terror Out, I think? I don't know. It doesn't sound like Terror, but it's the first thing that appears in my mind. It's a great blend of styles from both Job and Vex You. Really like the flows from each of the drops. There is not a single miss. The first drop pretty much keeping the same flow from the synths in the intro. The second drop immediately afterwards, just a hype moment already there. But the third drop is just, it's one of those stink-faceable drops. The first time you hear, you just immediately want to bust it down, you know? For me, my favorite part of this is actually the midsection and the outro. That melodic work that both artists do for this, and the melody that is brought up with this, is actually something that I haven't heard that many people talk about. And in my opinion, is one part of the song that definitely deserves a lot of attention, especially because of how well it balances with the hard drops and the hard sound design. Just how every single element of this track is well made and well connected, to the point at which it doesn't sound at all like it is conflicting with each other. Just overall, one of the best songs of this year, from one of the best EPs, from one of the best artists. It's just top notch wherever you look at it. Now, if you want to talk about destructive, bass-melting music, Second Rate by Kaifu is probably the hardest song I've heard this year. It just sounds so destructive and just so agonizing, but in a good way. How can someone produce this? You know, how can someone even think about making a song like this? And how can someone make a song like this work so well as it does? Kaifu does an amazing job at just creating the musical representation of agony, the musical representation of just rage. And I don't know what else to say about this other than It's fucking hardcore. I thought about that. You've got like weird hyperpop sections of this, which if you like, it's just so fucking weird that they're here. You've got the intro with that very distorted vocal that immediately afterwards hits you with drop. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now, I did hear some people talk about how the new Malignant compilation, you know, is not the best compilation that it could have been, but goddammit if this song is an absolute standout of that compilation. The greatest example of how you make such a hard-hitting song. You don't even do that much with it. Like, the whole song is just a very high-pitched, like if two pieces of metal just scratching against each other. It doesn't have guns, it doesn't have a complicated flow, but it doesn't need to. It does what it wants, and it does what it wants extremely nicely. If this is not in those fucking, you know, compilation of hardest drops of the year at the end of the year, then the people just don't have any taste, you know? Ever since Noisia announced they're stopping making music together, they have been releasing compilations of remixes of tracks throughout their whole discography under the Resonance series. Now, fun fact, on my first ever YouTube video, I actually used one of these remixes from one of these Resonance albums. These albums are actually very cool because you not only see big artists, big names, releasing remixes of some of the Noisia's biggest tracks, like with this compilation Aptic releasing a remix of Stigma, but also artists that you probably wouldn't hear about if not for these compilations. And a great example, at least from my personal experience, is the name Zardonic. I did not know who this artist was before the release of this compilation, and they went immediately and remixed one of my favorite songs from Noisia, Machine Gun. Now, this is a very hard song to remix in my opinion, because not only is the original song one of my favorites from Noisia, but there's also the 16-bit remix, who already made one of the hardest remixes of all time by grabbing this and just making a neural step banger that still sounds really cool to this day. It has not aged one bit. So imagine my surprise when I listen to this remix and I hear Doom soundtrack. It's a Doom song on a fucking Noisia compilation. Somehow, Zardonic just transformed Machine Gun completely, and somehow I think beat 16 bits on the whole remixing Machine Gun game. This is one of the hardest tracks of this year, and I'm noticing a theme throughout these 3 tracks. The whole way that the song progresses as well. The first drop just being already hard-hitting, in your face, just blasting all over the place. And then you've got like the mid section, which grabs the horns from the outro of the original Machine Gun and adds a orchestral choir and adds drama to it, all to build up to the second drop, which just is a sped up version of the first drop, and it sounds so fucking hard. Holy shit. The whole song is just a barrage of intensity. I don't know how the fuck they did it, but Zardonic probably beat Noisia themselves. Honestly, now I want to listen to more of Zardonic because of this. Like, I now know who they are, the style of music that they make. It was a great showcase of their talent. And oh my fucking god, if it's not one of my favorite tracks from this year. Now, as a quick change of pace to not just go hard-hitting, we have Take My Energy by Syzy. They have been on a massive roll this year, already releasing a remix that I consider to be one of the best remixes of this year, and then their album, which is just a great showcase of their talent. One of the lead singles for this is definitely, you know, this is the lead single that really made me hype for the album. I just love this song. Everything about this song is beautiful. The drops are nice and soothing. The sound design is pristine, and everything is just well made to be hard-hitting and headbangable, yes, but being also a more relaxed take on this type of music. Really dig as well some of the sample choices that kind of make the song also be a more cheerful song. Really dig the key change as well to the second drop, also adding another element of emotion to this track. The only thing that I'm still kind of, you know, bugging me is the fucking baseball clip. I want to know what fucking baseball game that was. Just, I would tell you not just listen to this track, but also listen to the album as well, especially the second to last track off of the album. Let me just get the name real quick again because I kind of forgot about it. Experience. Listen to Experience. That's the name of the track. Yes, because the outro, the whole second part of that track as well, it's just some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard from a traditionally known dubstep artist, you know? Such a beautiful album throughout the whole thing. It's got, you know, everything, a good nice blend of hard-hitting and soothing, goofy and serious. Just a whole great project. Just go listen to it. It's one of my recommendations for you. Nufury and Thirst should not work as well as they do with this track. When I first saw this track, I was utterly confused, to say the least. On the one hand, you have Nufury, mostly known for hypertrance and that style of music. On the other hand, you have Thirst, who has gained a little bit of popularity, especially on Monstercat and its community, as a funk artist. And I was not expecting these two to make a track together. And I was not expecting it to sound as well made, and I was not expecting it to actually sound like these two styles blend each other perfectly. First of all, probably the most surprising thing of all is how the traditional funk cowbell works so well for hypertrance. It really feels less like just a funk bell being added because it's a funk artist doing something that isn't funk, and actually feels like it belongs in the track. It belongs well as the melody that it goes for, especially with the sounds that Nufury also brings, bringing a more, you know, old school trance sound to it. Also, the traditional funk vocal that they put kind of like serving as the background also fits this track really well and kind of does work well with the main vocal sample that names the track. And this is probably one of the most surprising collaborations of the year and one of the most surprising songs of the year. Now, I know that I have actually released a second track on Monstercat, and that one is kind of what I was expecting when first seeing Calling for Your Love. You can definitely see again the two styles working well, but Calling for Your Love is just the better track because you definitely feel more like the styles are intertwined properly. Also, big shout out to the fucking visuals for the track. Really like the visuals and how well the song and the visuals work with together as well. It's just again, this is probably just the big thing about this track, how well everything works when probably it shouldn't. Yes, I know, I am an EDM channel. Why the fuck am I talking about a Kendrick Lamar song as an EDM channel? I don't listen to just EDM, you know, I listen to a lot of other genres of music, and rap is one genre that I have an absolute huge amount of respect for. When you really think about it, both EDM and rap have very similar things. A big focus on the production and on the instrumentals, usage of sampling, which on rap is a lot bigger, the culture there is stronger, but there's also a lot of sampling culture in EDM. And you know, the fact that throughout a long time, do see these two styles kind of merging with each other, with artists participating in, you know, EDM songs like, you know, trap songs and dubstep songs and everything. But as a person who spends a lot of their time on the internet, I also could not escape the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef and everything about that situation. Let me just tell you, Meet the Grams, out of all the rap songs that I've heard, and you know, it's not that many, is probably the most destructive, most impactful diss track in like a long time. This song is unironically terrifying to listen to. The way that Kendrick approaches Drake in this track is probably one of the most creative ways. Instead of going directly at Drake, he goes for the whole family. Starting off with Adonis, which is, you know, Drake's child, who's actually hidden for a long time until Pusha T in, I believe, 2019 released the story of Alidon and straight up said, "You're hiding a child." So that's already a massive beginning for this song. Then you have, you know, him going for Drake's parents and talking about how, you know, Drake is a master manipulator, how, you know, the way that he was raised led to who he is right now. And then just him saying, "I think people like him should die," like straight up, and comparing him to Harvey Weinstein. It's already just intense already. But that's not even the fucking worst thing about this. Then he talks about a hidden daughter. A hidden daughter out of fucking nowhere. He hits him with Story of Aridon 2 at this point. When I was listening to this for the first time, I was just dumbfounded. I do not listen to rap music as much as I listen to EDM. I've already said that before. But even I could not do anything but appreciate this track as what it is. A written fucking death sentence. It's a death sentence on Drake. The things that he accuses him of is just, it's just beyond anything. It's not just the fact that he has a hidden child. It's the fact that he's a pedophile, he's a rapist, just a manipulator that only cares about how successful he is, the fact that he's a code switcher, and the final bar on that part where he talks about, you know, the hidden daughter, the fucking deadbeat that should never say more life. That is already just like a final blow. But then he still goes after Drake himself. Then he still goes, you lied about the surgeries, you lied about your children, you lied about your accent, you lied about where you're from. And the fact that this was released 30 minutes after Family Matters, after Drake responded to Euphoria. That's just a flex in of itself, but the track to be this district, Drake was dead at this point, and Not Like Us was just him dancing on the grave, you know? That was it. It's over. Drake will probably not do anything else ever again, and if it was not because of this, it was because of Wagwan Delilah. Now, I know it sounds weird, the fact that my favorite track from the new Bring Me the Horizon album is technically an interlude, but let me tell you the story behind this in hopes of making things make sense. I think the day after the release of the album, Turbo Fury showed me the song, showed me the album, showed me the whole story behind it. Because Turbo Fury is a massive Bring Me the Horizon fan, and you know, I enjoyed their music as well, so it was just a nice experience for the both of us. Now, I was enjoying the tracks, I was enjoying the whole experience. I had already listened to one of the tracks because Turbo had showed me them before, back when they were still singles. But then we come to Pussy, which, can I just say, funny as fuck name? Just quickly wanted to say that, let's move on. And I was listening to it, and I was enjoying it a lot. I was actually really surprised by the way that it sounded like. When I was first listening to it, I was like, damn, this song goes hard as fuck. But then, an almond break shows up, and for some weird reason, I was like, damn, this song reminds me of Sewer Slut for some reason. So I decided to see if someone else had the same opinion than me, that this sounds like a Sewer Slut song. I looked at the SoundCloud comment section because we were both listening to this on SoundCloud, and I see someone going, wait, Symphony? So we decided to check the writing credits for this track, and sure enough, Symphony is there as one of the producers. So yes, this Symphony was the person that produced this song. Fun fact, Symphony is Sewer Slut's new alias. Sewer Slut did a track for Bring Me the Horizon, ain't no fucking way. So you're telling me that one of my favorite artists of all time collab with Bring Me the fucking Horizon? How the fuck is this possible? Oh yeah, a few years ago they did make that one Drown remix. And then Bring Me the Horizon probably found out about this, liked Sewer Slut's music, and then put one of their tracks when they did curate a Spotify playlist. Okay, now that I think about it, but the funniest thing about this is not even the weirdest fucking thing that Symphony did this year. Yes, you read that correctly. Featuring Project Melody. Like, it even goes further than that. You go into Project Melody's Twitter account and you see her promoting the fucking EP, saying, "Our little sluts growing up." I mean, come on. Now, why am I putting these two tracks together? Because really, they kind of showcase why I like Symphony so much and why I've been enjoying their tracks as Symphony. These two tracks, these two completely different tracks, are made by the same person. Flickering in the Gloom is a lot more chill. It's a more relaxing tune. It's liquid drum and bass done right. And it's the type of music that I aspire to make when I'm trying to make liquid drum and bass. And the fact that this kind of has a lot of, you know, Project Melody samples on it, because that's how this collaboration worked. Like, Symphony grabbed a like a Project Melody clip from somewhere and, you know, used that as, you know, a big part of the song, and even the fucking tag is Project Melody, so there's a lot of Project Melody in this if it's not like a direct collaboration between the two. But on the other side, you have Pussy, which is hard-hitting, very dark, and very ominous to fit the story that Posthuman Next Gen is trying to tell. You look at both of these songs and then you notice that they're both made by the same artist, and it showcases the versatility that Symphony has. That one of the big reasons why I was so hyped for this CP, and also when I found out that Symphony did a track for Bring Me the Fucking Horizon. They're one of my favorite artists of all time, and I'm so happy to see them not only back, but also better than ever, in my perfect opinion. I just had to do a quick break because I was again starting to become absolutely fucking drenched in sweat. Don't make videos during the summer. I said during the intro of this video that I wanted to also have a small little segment where I talked about some tracks that you probably never heard of that were released during this year. And one of these tracks is one with a very interesting story called Showroom by Echo Faust. If I remember correctly, this originally was just a small clip that Echo Faust released on Twitter, just like a small little side project type of thing. However, it blew up in popularity almost immediately, and it's down to the fact that, just like with, for example, Calling for Your Love, it harks back to an old type of feeling that people yearn for, that sort of nostalgic sound. It pretty much creates this very smooth, almost jazzy, which a lot of people, including Echo Faust themselves, compared it to menu music from old racing games. Hence why the visualizers on YouTube are of, I believe, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, but I could be wrong about that. Now, the fun thing about this track is that you can only listen to it on YouTube. You cannot listen to it anywhere else. I still recommend listening to the song even with, you know, its lack of availability on streaming platforms, because like I said, the song is smooth. The way that every single sound comes up and then dies off, the way that the very strong 808s sound, the drums, everything about this track is just such a calming experience. It never has like an outright hype moment. The whole song is just perfect for example, how it's being used right now as background music. It's a perfect song to put in the back, to, you know, for projects to work. It's a nice experience of a song, really. I look forward to what else Echo Faust is doing, because I also know that there was a video they posted about, you know, future albums and everything, and very interesting songs have been previewed on that video. So that's really broken English, but you get the point. Now, I know I am a massive fucking weeb for putting this song and the following song in this as well, but you have to take into consideration the fact that I am actually a pretty massive Vocaloid fan. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I have 2 Hatsune Miku dolls and a poster. Well, 3, but one of them was, you know, this fucking mess, which, you know, will go down back to the garbage again. Mitsuketa by Tomikusa was a song that I actually really wanted to talk about back in, I think, February, when I first found out about this song. And the reason being is because it's such an interesting song in both how it sounds like and the visuals for it. First of all, I really just have to talk about the visuals for a little moment. You got a mixture of styles from, you know, just normal hand-drawn to that sort of 3D effect, and even, you know, the it kind of getting really fucking creepy with like blood all over and like very dark and very red and everything. Matching the lyrics and matching the tone of the song really fucking well. But also the subtitles and how they're used that enhance the song and enhance the lyrics. Really fucking great creative way to use this extra element to, again, enhance the song. The song itself is really fun to listen to, even if it's one of those extremely creepy Vocaloid songs where the main character just wants to fucking kill you, you know? Like, the song follows a very creepy structure and everything. It has like 2 choruses, it has a key change as well, and in fact, the song is actually so creepy, it literally jump scared me. If you are into creepy Vocaloid music, and trust me, there's a lot of creepy Vocaloid music, this is definitely a highlight in that. I recommend listening to this. I will put a playlist down in the description for both YouTube and SoundCloud, the best way to listen to these tracks for me. And, you know, if there's any like misses, now you know why. Now, the next song, I can't fucking say the title. Literally, I have it right here, and I just don't know how the fuck do I say it. Like, is it like Night War Kill? What the fuck is this supposed to mean? What I do know is that this is breakcore. Just straight up. This is breakcore. This is vocaloid breakcore music. And it's so all over the place. It's so crazy. It really is just a breakcore song, really. Now, the thing that made me fall in love with this song is not the breakcore section of this track. It's actually the sort of jungle-y second drop, like the second half of the track where it slows down. That is what really made me fall in love with this song. Just the pans and the bass and the very erratic drums over a very quick type of singing, like just like a barrage over it. And then on the B side, you have basses coming in to kind of filling the space that the vocals let out when they dropped off. And then you have like a very quiet outro part right after the drops. It's like, that is really the part of the song that made me fall in love with this, and definitely is my favorite part of this track. Very intense, but again, very weirdly peaceful as well, probably due to the theming of the song as well. Now, here's the thing, I don't know lickety split Japanese, even though I studied it for 2 years. I know this is a bit of a weird pick to put in here, but this is why I listen to vocaloid music. It's probably the most interesting type of music to listen to, because it's so varied. The only thing that vocaloid tracks have in common is the fact that they don't use an actual singer. They use a vocal android, hence the name. If you are just, you know, looking for fun experiences in the form of music, give Vocaloid a try. There's definitely a bunch of artists that you will absolutely adore. From the most popular, the most mainstream, the ones that everyone talks about, to artists like this that you probably don't know that well, and you're gonna have to either do some crate digging, that's the actual expression, or just wait until YouTube recommends you, like it was the case with me. So this is really why I wanted to add these two Vocaloid songs. Now, for the last track of this video, we have a track by the name of Nina Kamina. And the reason why I decided to put this track in this video as well is because it sends me back to like 2010. You see that a lot of these tracks that I put in this kind of have that sort of nostalgic factor over it, and Nina Kamina is one of those tracks as well. For some weird reason, this track sends me back to the times in which I was playing Need for Speed Shift out of all games, really. Just the sort of like festival electro house, very party oriented, but the lyrics and the way that Easy Kamina sings in this track, they're both just sexy, you know. They're that type of like boss bitch type of music, you know. As you can kind of see by the title and every artist, this is one of those tracks that joins the names of the artist, which is something that we haven't seen in quite some time in the EDM sphere. I think really the only times that you saw that a lot was, for example, every time that Infected Mushroom did a collaboration of some sort, or for example, Drop That Child. Yes, I know that title is weird as well, but you have to take in consideration it was a That Child and Drop That collaboration. It still doesn't excuse the fact that the title of the track is Drop That Child. Again, not only with the song, but also with the name, and also with a lot of the things that are said with the lyrics. Again, harking back to sort of like late 2000s, early 2010s electro pop. And this is the type of music that I believe should be playing on the radio, because it's so easily accessible. It's got so many parts here that even people that listen to pop music would enjoy. And so guys, that is it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like I said in the intro, if you have any tracks that you want to talk about in the comment section that you've enjoyed a lot throughout this year, put them down in the comment section below. I really just wanted to talk about these tracks because these have been some of my favorites from this year. Now, I'm also going to do a full version of this when the end of the year comes around, when the end of the year rolls around, or probably beginning of next year, because at that point 2024 has ended. I will also be like I did last year, releasing a playlist of what I believe to be the best songs of this year, so that you can judge my music opinion and flame me if your favorite song is not on it. So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and see you guys next time. And as a nice little way to end this video, here is that ambient outro that I talked about when I was talking about Take My Energy by Syzy, what I believe to be probably the most beautiful part of any track released this year. Enjoy.